In other words, this is very convenient. Like I had a car accident a couple of years ago, and when I had to sort out all those issues myself, it was pretty much a nightmare situation. Bit of negotiation, everyone is happy. If they have an accident, if that is bad enough, you might also get into some trouble completely unnecessarily. I don't really recommend getting a loan, but if you do get a loan, pre-approval would be my personal preference. The damages to your vehicle is covered, as well as damages to the other party is also covered under your policy if you are at fault. Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we will be tackling a big one, buying a new car. Now it can be quite exciting, of course, but it can also be quite stressful. So before you hit the road, there are 6 different steps that you should take to ensure a smooth ride. And that is exactly what we are going to discuss today. So without further ado, let's dive in. So first on our list is budgeting. Before you even think about all these cool fancy features, you should lock down the amount, your budget. This is the most important step. You must decide beforehand how much you can spend on your new car comfortably, taking into considerations of the factors such as your monthly income, your expenses, and any existing debts that you might have. Okay, because if you want to take out a loan, you should be very careful about the loan terms and how much you have to pay for things such as the interest or account fees, etc. On top, you should also consider about ongoing expenses, its running cost. See, it's not just the sticker price. You have to consider additional expenses, factors such as maintenance, insurance, and of course, fuel. And if you want to upgrade your vehicle later down the line, you should also consider about its depreciation value. All of these things going to impact how much you have to spend on the new car that you are about to purchase. Next on our list is market research. Once you have locked in the amount, your budget, now for the fun part, researching your dream car. But there are a couple of things that need to be done right. When conducting research, it is crucial to consider factors such as fuel efficiency, reliability, or safety rating. Websites such as drive.com.au or Whichcar can serve as an excellent starting point for exploring new cars. But if you are leaning towards a used car, it would be wise to get a price estimate from reliable sources such as car sales, Red Book Evaluation, or Kelly Blue Book. Don't need to panic. Again, I'm gonna put all the links in the description. Now, for those of you in the market for a new car, start by compiling a list of brands that align with your budget. In addition to reading reviews, you should also think about reaching out to the sales representatives because they can provide valuable insights. Share your criteria with them to see which models they recommend. On top, making contact with novated leasing companies can offer further guidance. But before you ring those novated leasing companies, make sure to consult with your payroll department to find out if you are actually eligible to purchase a vehicle under novated lease. Once you get a green light and a list of available companies from your payroll department, only then proceed with contacting those companies. Now, for novated lease, you might get confused by many jargons, terms, and all sorts of calculations. But the good news is, I have a separate video where I delve into these calculations, pre and post-tax deductions that are associated with purchasing a vehicle under novated lease. Links to that video will be provided in the description, where I discuss all areas of novated lease, whether it's loan payment, on-road cost, as well as running expenses. Now, back to our market research. In addition to reading reviews and conducting sales consultation, you can also optimize your research by using specific search terms. Family-friendly SUV, small sedan, fuel-efficient hatchback, etc., etc. Tailored to your unique situation, your specific requirements, to narrow down the list of your primary selection of cars to a maximum of 3. Now, in terms of technology, I should point out that camera is very useful. Try to find a car that offers 360-degree views. Okay, especially when you are parking or going through a narrow passage, this can save you a ton on your repair bills and of course a lot of regrets. You wouldn't like to get a scratch on your new car, would you? Again, do not get confused by dash cam. This is the camera that offers live view of your vehicle as you drive. Next on our list is new versus old. So at this point, you have locked in your budget and decided or almost decided on the vehicle that you are about to purchase. So let's move on to the next stage. Shiny and brand new or pre-loved. This is a big decision because, see, new cars come with a showroom sparkle. In the morning, you go to the dealership, those young receptionists, they come to you, they treat you like a VIP, they try to flirt with you, those young girls, okay? They give you a drink, you sit down, they congratulate you, you get into the car, there is claps, there is balloons, so it is like a festive environment. But guess what? These cars depreciate much faster. Okay. In contrast, if you are to buy a used car, this can be a great bargain. Obviously, because used cars are much cheaper. So which one should you go for? Here is the trick. Insurance and warranty. Now, why insurance is so important? Well, I had a car accident several years ago, and it was pretty much a nightmare situation to sort out the issues on my own. I made a separate video discussing all those issues and how I navigated through that difficult situation. You can of course check it out. It might be a great relief to know all the bits and pieces and how those things actually work. But the bottom line is, if I have to buy an insurance policy, I will always go for a comprehensive policy. Again, this is my personal opinion. For you, it can be completely different. Now, talking about comprehensive insurance policy, I want to get the maximum coverage. Some insurance companies offer lifetime new for an old car replacement. What it really means is this. If your car gets into an accident and is written off after that accident, under this policy, you are eligible to get a brand new car as long as you purchased that policy on that car when that car was 12 months old or less, or something along those lines. So here is what I do. You go to the car manufacturer and ask them that, look, I'm about to make a purchase of this vehicle from a private seller. Will I still be covered for the rest of the warranty? What paperwork need to be signed and so on. And then you go to the insurance company. Now, of course, you want to shop around to find the best deal. But once you have decided which insurance company you will make your purchase of an insurance policy from, then you ask them pretty much the same thing. That would you be eligible for the maximum coverage should you decide to buy this vehicle from a private seller? that if your car is a total loss, will you get a new car in exchange for that total loss old car? Okay. If they specify some criteria, then you go into the market and buy the car based specifically on those criteria. Should you decide to purchase an old car? Now, where do you find this old car? You got Facebook Marketplace, you got Gumtree, you got car sales, you got word of mouth, your friends, buddies, colleagues. There are plenty of options. But before you make your purchase, always do a history check. Link in the description. Next on our list is finance. So far, we talked about how to find the right car. So now let's talk about finance. Where you're gonna get the money and how. If you qualify for novated lease, then go for it for 1 year. And then maybe use credit cards, do a balance transfer of the debt, and then save on the interest for another 12 to 24 months. And then you can rinse and repeat until that loan is entirely paid off. Look, this is not a financial advice because guess what? I'm not a financial expert. If you have to talk to a professional, please talk to a professional first and then come back to the calculations. I made a separate video where I have shown you all the calculations, pre and post-tax deductions, covering all aspects of novated lease, whether it's on road cost, running cost, or loan payment. All the calculations are there for you to get familiar with. You can go through these calculations at your convenience, but you need to be comfortable with that approach. I should warn you that in some cases, these novated lease companies can charge you an extremely high interest rate. Okay, so please don't take my word for it. If you are comfortable, go for it. Okay. If you have decided to go via this route of novated lease, then you don't have to spend all the money upfront. You can put this money into an offset account if you have a mortgage, or into a high interest savings account. That way, you can have access to this money, and at the same time, this money can also generate you some additional income. Okay, this can work for you as an emergency fund. That's the idea. In contrast, if you do not qualify for the novated lease, then you precisely have two options. Either to pay outright with your cash or to get a loan. Now, I don't really recommend taking out a loan, either from the dealership or from the lenders. Okay. Again, that's just me. Everyone's circumstances are different. Let's assume that you still need to get a loan. So, how much? Well, you might have guessed it, as minimum as possible. Okay. So, how can you minimize your loan, and from where would you be able to get the rest of the money? We're going to talk about it in a minute, but let's talk about your existing car, if you have one. Okay. If you have an existing car, what to do with that existing car? Should you sell it off or trade it in? Sell instead of trade in. Okay. You should sell your car privately instead of trading it in. Because guess what? The dealerships often offer lower prices for trade-ins. Websites like Gumtree, Facebook Marketplace, and car sales can be the ultimate goldmine for finding a private buyer. Now, in terms of advertisement, what should you put into the listing? Okay. First of all, you should be honest. Okay. An honest and detailed description of the vehicle. See, if there is a dent or a scratch, there is no point hiding it. Okay. In fact, you can score a higher point in trustworthiness if you are upfront about the defects of the vehicle. So, what should you put in that listing? High quality pictures, obviously, plus an honest and detailed description. The pictures should also depict all those defects. Next, you should be prepared for organizing test drive and also negotiating with your prospective buyer. Okay, it would be wise for you to list the vehicle at a price higher than what you'd usually settle for. That way, you will have a bit of a leg room to maneuver. Bit of negotiation, everyone is happy. And finally, once you have found a buyer, make sure to transfer the ownership legally after you sold it off. In that way, you're not gonna get into trouble unnecessarily, because if they cop a fine, you might be responsible for that fine. If they have an accident, if that is bad enough, you might also get into some trouble completely unnecessarily. So as soon as the transaction is over, make sure that the ownership is duly transferred, is duly handed over to them as well. Okay, so now you sold off your vehicle, you got some money, plus you have your hard-earned savings. So now it is time to file a loan applications. Now, in terms of loan applications, what are your options? Basically, there are two options: dealership and external lenders. Now, each of these cases has a pro and a con. Okay, so let's talk about the dealership first. It is convenient, one-stop solution. You go there, you sign up the paperwork, and it's done. But guess what? You might have to pay a high interest rate. Okay. Plus, expect surprises in the form of hidden fees, loan establishment fee, and this and that. Plus, when it comes to lenders, for the dealership, you will probably have a very limited choice. So these are the pros and cons of dealership. So now let's focus on the external lenders. Now, ideally, you should shop around to find a competitive rate. Okay. And you definitely can find a competitive rate if you spend a decent amount of time. Now, in terms of the external lenders, besides competitive rates, you should also consider two other things: secured versus unsecured. Now, for secured loans, the car will be used as a collateral. That way, you will experience a lower interest rate. But now, if you think about the unsecured loan, because these are riskier, you would have to pay a higher interest rate. And for the external lenders, it would be better to get a pre-approval. Okay, you can go to a bank or a credit union and get a pre-approval beforehand, before you go into the dealership. That way, you will have a bit of a leverage. You can bargain that, look, I'm pre-approved. That shows you have already done your research, you know your borrowing power, and they are confident as well that you will be approved of the loan. So you'll have a bit of a leverage if you go beforehand to a lender or credit union and get pre-approved. Okay, so these are basically two options when it comes to the loans. In my opinion, I don't really recommend getting a loan, but if you do get a loan, pre-approval would be my personal preference. Next on our list is insurances and warranties. Now, we talked a little bit about insurances earlier, and on top of what I already said, I just want to point out a couple more things. So basically, there are two types of insurance policies. You got the comprehensive policy and the third-party property damage. Now, for the comprehensive policy, you are covered, the damages to your vehicle is covered, as well as damages to the other party is also covered under your policy if you are at fault. And guess what? If you are not at fault, if someone else hits you, you are still covered under comprehensive policy for those damages. In contrast, these third-party policies, they are cheaper, but guess what? Any kind of damages, whether you are at fault or not, you are not covered. So if someone else hits you, all those liabilities, all those responsibilities will now you have to deal with. So this is the beauty of the comprehensive policies. For whatever damage that you have in your vehicle, you are covered. In other words, this is very convenient. Like, I had a car accident a couple of years ago, and when I had to sort out all those issues myself, it was pretty much a nightmare situation. And that's why my personal preference is always go for a comprehensive policy, although they are more expensive. Again, I made a separate video discussing all those things, the issues that I had to face, those difficult times, how I navigated. I made a separate video detailing everything. You are more than welcome to go and check it out. So, this is my personal position. Always buy a comprehensive policy. Do not buy a third party policy because, in my opinion, those third party policies are not really worth it. But those policies are cheaper. And comprehensive policies, because it is comprehensive, it covers both parties, they are a little bit dearer, they are a bit more expensive. So, obviously, you should shop around to find a better deal. Okay. So, when you are shopping around, you can look for a couple of things. Access. When there is an accident and you are at fault, how much you are out of pocket straight away to access that insurance. So that's the access. The other thing is no claim bonus. Can you claim a discount during the renewal? If you make no claim within that particular year or consecutively, let's say that you are owning this policy for 5 years, can you claim consecutive discounts for not making any claim within these 5 years? So that's the no claim bonus. Plus, can you get some extras? Let's say, for instance, roadside assistance. Can you get it for free? So all of these things you can negotiate, you can look for when you are shopping around for a better comprehensive policy deal. And on top, there is one other thing that you can do. Combining two policies. Let's say, for instance, every car that drives in Australia needs a CTP, third party insurance policy. Every car needs one of these. And on top of CTP, if you go for, let's say, a comprehensive policy, you can buy both of these policies from the same provider and ask them for a discount. Not a huge discount, obviously, but guess what? Every little bit helps. It can still bring down the comprehensive policy price a little bit lower. Okay, so there you have it, a comprehensive policy at a slight bargain. And in terms of warranties, all I have to say is this: always buy a car that is under warranty. Again, it all comes down to your personal choices and conveniences. So that's all about insurances and warranties. And finally, we are now at the very last stage, and that is sealing the deal. Okay, and to summarize, I only have one word: negotiate. There are a lot to negotiate, and guess what? You shouldn't shy away from negotiating. Let's say, for instance, you are buying a brand new car. Can you bring down the driveway price ever so slightly? Can I have a camera installed? This is not the feature camera, by the way. The one that gives you live 360-degree views as you drive. This is not that camera. This is the dash cam. There is a camera at the front. There is a camera at the back. At least this camera should have 2 channels to record what is happening around you as you drive and putting it into a memory chip. That's the dash cam. And depending on its make, model, etc., it can cost you about $500 to $1,000 including installation. So can I have a dash cam installed in my camera? Can I have my glasses tinted? Can I have my sound system upgraded? Can I have my seatings upgraded? Can I have leather seating instead of traditional seating? Can I have a metallic paint instead of a traditional paint? All of these things can be negotiated and can be purchased at a huge discount. Okay, especially if you are buying a brand new car from a showroom. So there you have it, 6 steps to buying your dream car at a huge bargain. I hope you enjoyed, and if that is the case, give it a thumbs up, give it a like, spread the news, and thank you for watching, and I will catch up with you on the next one. Bye for now.